Okay, here's another League of Legends game coming your way, this time with Poppy Jungle. And I should mention that this is being recorded post-commentary, so I already know how everything's gonna happen, and, well, you guys will see. So, I have a new skin, check it out. The whole Noxus thing kind of applies since we do have Darius on our side, and you can see my team is actually marching single file to the enemy blue buff. I don't know if they're a pre-made, but they didn't say a single word about this to me, so I'm just trying to catch up. Anyway, it's been a little while since I did Poppy. I know Falcon really likes the character, and there are probably a couple others. So, hopefully this will hold you over a little bit longer, even though it's going to be relatively brief.
If it will bring peace.
And even though this is post-commentary, I should have looked at the moves, so I'd know them offhand since I'm not going to mouse them over, but anyway, I'm waiting right here to do the lane matchups because I didn't know if Zed was going to come face check and I didn't want the menu up, but usually right around this point if they haven't shown up they're not going to. So I'm Poppy in the jungle against Master Yi. We have Lissandra mid against Zed, Sivir partnered with Thresh bot against Graves and Azir, and Darius top against Alistar. So, one drawback of not recording the commentary live is I just say in my head what I'm thinking about saying, and sometimes I have enough time, sometimes I don't. But anyway, Darius kind of does need to get to top lane, but here goes the invade. So, any predictions how this is going to work out? Yeah, check it out, there's Graves and Yi. Fail flash on Graves means hammer to his face, down he goes. And I really can't afford to tank Azir's soldiers, but he goes down to Sivir, and I didn't get an assist off that one sadly, but I did get first blood, so I can't really complain. As for Zed, his flash was just burned, but due to Living Shadow, he's still extremely tricky to gank. All in all, I am best waiting until level 6 to gank that lane so that Lissandra has her ult to help lock him down, and you'll see how everything plays out. So I did have to start with Q due to the invade. That of course means that my clear isn't going to be as safe. If you're not familiar, the W is Paragon of Demacia. That's usually what I like to start with. It gives you stacks whenever you attack or get attacked. The stacks in turn give you AD and armor. I'm running attack speed red, so I actually do get to get a little bit more use out of the AD you get from that instead of just having to wait for my Q to come off cooldown. Also doesn't help that the Q doesn't actually do a lot of damage just yet without the AD built ahead of time, but still I'm good to clear. Unfortunately, I just won't be able to gank immediately after clearing. I couldn't actually get a proper leash due to the whole invade thing. And yeah, you saw how everything plays out. So I believe your passive, I don't know what it's called, but if I remember correctly, it's something like if you get a single hit of either physical or magic damage that exceeds 10% of your current health, the damage is reduced by half. So it makes Poppy a little deceptively tanky, and it does come in handy from time to time. Definitely can make this securing a kill a lot more complicated. As for Q, Devastating Blow has a 1-to-1 AD ratio, which is pretty awesome, and it's actually magic damage, even though you get the best return for stacking AD with it. It does a small amount of flat damage, and I don't remember the percentage offhand on what it does, but it scales off of the enemy's hit points, which is going to be pretty devastating for Alistar if this actually went on long enough, but as you can look for the timer, doesn't. So sadly I'm level 3. Alistar is not really a good gank target because he has headbutt to disengage if I try to close in on him. I don't really have a gap closer of my own. You may say you have heroic charge or E, but that really only helps if they're by a wall, as you're about to find out in a second. So as I said, your E is heroic charge. It's like a melee version of Vayne's Condemn. You basically charge into a target, you deal a little bit of damage, and if you manage to drive them into the terrain, they will take additional damage and be briefly stunned. So Graves wanted the kill. I used the heroic charge to put him in turret range to take a shot. And right here, Sivir really messes up. She's tanking the turret, the minions for absolutely no reason, giving Graves a free kill. So I took down Graves. There's the brush trick, slightly amended due to the whole heroic charge thing, and I can just walk away from Azir. So if not for Sivir's misplay there, we actually could have gone quite a bit ahead there. But I have smite, so the golems are an easy take. I'm going to go ahead and pick those up. I smited the other one since I could just melee down the one. Poppy, of course, is a single target clear, so it's kind of painful to start off with, but it does get better in time. I'm going to go ahead and pick up the wraiths because I need enough gold to pick up a second longsword, boots, and ideally a pink ward if you've seen how I play. And one thing I can go over while we wait is that you may have noticed Master Yi actually hasn't made any appearances just yet. He's a Feral Flare, of course, and he's just rushing his stacks. The problem is, the whole Feral Flare Yi thing kind of meets a brick wall when you come to Poppy. In reality, he should be ganking a lot more and just being a lot more active, trying to do something. In the end, I will actually be able to outscale him. I can actually beat him in a duel. I'll have the Q for nice nuke effect. I'll have the W to either keep up with him or run away if need be. And if he gets by terrain or just if I need to slam him into something, I have the E, of course. And even if we fight in a team fight, I have diplomatic immunity, the ult, to either get the damage amp on him to kill him, or just put it on someone else while I kill whatever target I want. And that brings us to the ult, of course. Your ult is diplomatic immunity, you designate a target, that is the only target that can hurt you while the effect is active. Additionally, you deal bonus damage to the target. The amount actually scales off the rank of the move. So, come late, that diplomatic immunity really would be the kiss of death on Yi. I can't really fault the guy, of course, because Poppy is so rarely seen. He may not actually know that he's racing the clock. Time is not on his side, and he's not really taking advantage of it. As for Zed, here is where I'm starting to suspect that he's keeping the bottom half of the river warded, which will be validated later on. Spoilers.
Immediately.
So the red buff is up. Sivir is actually starting to move back towards the bot lane, so you know what that means. And if you couldn't tell, in this game, the bot lane is actually the ideal gank target for me. Alistar, tanky, tons of disengage, very risky, not to mention he has his ult to actually almost cancel out my famous dives. So I don't really want to waste time there. As for mid, Zed's Living Shadow gives him a lot more maneuverability than you'd think. I need Lissandra's lockdown to pull this one off. And right there, Thresh went in way too early. Sivir wasn't even on the same page as him. So right there we burn their flashes, we burn their heals, but Sivir is level 5. So we do not have On the Hunt to actually secure that. As a result, they're going to get away. Thresh is going to rage. And I'll wait for it before going on about it, but... So right there, he's upset. Thing is, he actually went in there alone. Sivir wasn't actually ready, she wasn't in position, it was just him going in and now he's mad. So I'm going to mute him so I don't have to put up with him.
I'll settle this issue.
Of course, bot is still the best gank target, so it's not like I'm abandoning the lane. In fact, I'm going to be making them quite miserable since Yi apparently doesn't know how to deal with a Poppy. As you can see there, he is out farming me, but I do have 2 kills and I'm generating just much more pressure. Sadly, the pink ward died there, as Lissandra pointed out on the map. I'm going to be picking up a new one when I go back, but I want the Elder Lizard. And while the inventory window was open. I looked at and saw Lissandra has a chalice, so she doesn't really need the blue buff. I went ahead and picked that up because Poppy has crippling mana cost, if you haven't noticed already. And I can kind of get a little bit more out of it than she could. Or she doesn't have the chalice yet, but she will, and that's why I'm going to monopolize the blue buffs. So right there is the replacement pink, and I'm good to go. So I definitely would go as far as to say that Thresh is by no means a good pick into an Azir support. He's definitely one of those poke types like Karma, Zyra that just make his life miserable. And yeah, Thresh did have the counter pick, so he kind of squandered that. The Thresh player himself wanted to play Azir mid, but once Azir got picked, he just went support instead, and Lissandra went mid. Anyway, you can see Yi showed up top. He's going to take the tower, but that's not going to affect us the slightest bit. Sure, it is a free tower for them, but that's still not going to help. Darius is free to roam. Alistar can't really punish that. As for Yi, yeah, he did make an appearance for once, but that's not the type of play he needed to make. All in all, I still am making a lot of progress. He's not really slowing me down, and I dropped the pink ward there because I was wondering, is he finally going to gank? Maybe he's going to show up mid to try to get Lissandra. He doesn't. Bye-bye, Zed. So right there with all of her lockdown, right there I ulted, I walked away from the tower. Reason for that being is not so I could tank it, but because his Living Shadow was going to carry him with me. I wanted to actually get him to a range where he could be killed more easily, and Lissandra secures it, and all in all, it sucks for her. And right there, Graves just overstepped. There's the Azir ult, forcing me to flash. Azir dashed, and one death. As you may have guessed, bye-bye birdie. So I ended up picking up both of those. Sivir is just racking up a ton of assists this game. What do I usually say? Support carry or something like that? Or carry support? But that's how this is playing out for her. So now I'm 4-0-1. And the bot lane is actually on tilt, if you probably couldn't have guessed. I haven't really been keeping track over the course of this video, but I don't know if that was the third or fourth appearance I made down there, and Yi has yet to lift a finger. So the bot turret goes down, ours is going to be following suit, sadly. I don't really know what Sivir is maxing, but she should actually be able to keep the minions off the turret. And here we don't know where Zed is. We didn't know if he could be in the jungle, so I fell back to a safer distance. The key thing about this spot is there was a wall right there. If Zed showed up, he's going to be eating it, and then Lissandra can swoop in to kill him again. And I've been so successful in my ganks, I go for even more damage. I pick up the Shein right here. I'm contemplating, do I want to get a longsword? And in reality, I should have. It's just I didn't. I wanted to get back into the game. I think you guys probably get bored if I sit around that screen too long, but there's a bottom lane to gank, and right there Sivir burned her ult really, really early. And there she burned her spell shield really, really early. But luckily Graves missed his ult. So I'm on my way, so is Yi, and sorry Yi. Good news for him is I actually missed the wall there, because had I actually managed to drive him into it, he would have been dead. So down goes Graves. Azir goes all in on Sivir, and he's going to suicide to the tower, but he took damage from the box, so Thresh gets the kill. So I didn't actually manage to secure any kills or assists there, but the important thing is I was able to counter Yi's gank.
Immediately.
When he finally makes an appearance, I can't really read that text, but I can see that he said something about Poppy. Yeah, drawback of doing this post-commentary is I'm looking at a much smaller screen and lower resolution. But I got to counter Yi's gank, so he's negatively reinforced to gank bot, if you want to think about it like that. He doesn't really have an incentive to show up there anymore, and it's just an ugly lane all around for them. Of course, since he is a feral flare, he could do a dragon solo, especially once Highlander is up. That's why I'm trying to keep the dragon pit warded as much as possible. Thresh completed Face of the Mountain. Here, like right there, you can see Lysandra actually has the Grail in her inventory, so I can go ahead and pick up the blue buff and just gank all the more. I'm not entirely sold on that, to be honest, because she is against a AD mid. It's just, I guess Zed fell behind one reason or another. If you remember, he did burn his flash at the beginning of the game, so I don't know if he just played safe early on or what. Key thing is, Lysandra did not feel threatened from him, and she itemized to take advantage of that. So Thresh goes in, spell shield burn, she has to pop her ult, down goes the exhaust, down goes Face of the Mountain. And I'm running as fast as I can, but I only have tier 1 boots. Lysandra went in too deep, pays the price, and the key thing is you see Alistar's there at the blue buff. So just like when Darius made an appearance down here, that means free tower top. So Graves went out of position, but Thresh secures the kill. So I got an assist this time, it's just Sivir got 2 instead of any kills. With the bot lane down, and the ward dying right there, this is pretty much a free dragon. Not to mention we also get the top tower, so we are definitely taking advantage of how things have played out. Since there's no Yi, I go ahead and smite early, and I believe Thresh ends up taking that too, friggin' thief. But right now, it's pretty obvious the enemy is demoralized, and it's just a mess. Right there you can see Graves is now raging at Yi. And I do have to agree, Yi did not play this correctly because I will mess him up late. There's just no way around that. He didn't even secure the dragon, he didn't do much of anything, and right here I'm not really sure on, should I get the Frozen Fist or should I go for Triforce? And I decided I can definitely use the Cutlass. The additional slow will help me stick to people, could secure a kill or two, even though I think I don't end up using it. But the Fist actually would be a good pickup this game because there's just so much AD on the enemy team. You have Yi, Zed mid, Graves.
We are in accord.
I believe Alistar top is also AD, but Sivir dies somehow. Darius swoops in, misses one, but he lands his pull, and he's just racking up the stacks. So with Thresh and me arriving, Graves kind of resigns to his fate. He does succeed in denying us any assists, though, but it doesn't really matter. We're just snowballing out of control at this rate. Right here, you get to see my suspicions validated. Like I mentioned earlier on, Zed has this warded, and as soon as I pass through that brush, he is gone. So I'm moving over here in case he tries to shadow over the wall to safety, or something along those lines. Instead, he goes deeper into our jungle to recall, and he will get away. So right around now, he has had enough time to pull it off. I'm just going to take the wolves. Need to keep burning those conservation stacks so I don't fall behind like Yi has. And right there we see them mid. So this is the final battle approaching. There's one last bang to send you guys off smiling. And speaking of bang, there goes Yi. Yep, Highlander does not help you once you are hooked. So Thresh went in there, but Azir has his tower up, so we shouldn't actually be fighting here. Right there I took a little bit of shuriken damage, Sivir is poking down. In reality we just have to wait a minute for the turret to die on its own unless we get enough minions up here to just force it down. This is my first game against Azir, so I don't really know the specifics here. And sadly the hook pulled Zed out enough to where I couldn't actually just slam him into the wall. And Once again, single target damage means the only ones I get assists off of are Zed and Alistar. So rest in peace, tower. Neat thing is, I think we got 20 gold off of that, so good to know. But I don't know if that's supposed to be a reference to something. I was thinking it kind of reminds me of a Zohar emulator from Xenosaga, but could be something from Halo. I don't really play a lot of first-person shooters. But anyway, a poppy game for you guys, especially Falcon. Thoughts and observations in the description. I'm the Hero of Light. Thanks for watching, and goodbye.